Welcome back to JB Reviews. I found the 2023 Ram 3500 dually. The fact that this truck made it to the dealership without getting sold is pretty crazy. This has a night edition, as you can see, and it has a lot of good options. So I'm going to show you guys the window sticker here in a second. But special shout out to Larry H. Miller, Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram here in Sandy, Utah. As I mentioned, this truck's available, but not for long. Let's get it started. Now here's the window sticker for that Ram 3500 dually. Base price is $67,160. Here's some of the colors. And I want you guys to know, be sure to pause it, but this truck has $28,000 worth of options. A little bit over $28,000 actually. And they continue up here. Destination comes in at $1,895 with a total price of $97,385. I don't know why Ford and GM do not offer a blackout for the dually. This thing looks absolutely menacing, and I really like red with blackouts. Like, I think this is the best color when you get night editions or midnight editions, whatever they're called at other manufacturers. But check out the front grille. It's pretty much blacked out with the emblems, and you have that forward-facing camera. And because this has a night edition, you do have the Sport Performance hood. Blackout headlights, LED high and low beams, incandescent turn signals, and LED fog lights down below. Blacked out tow hooks, painted bumpers, all this stuff comes with the night edition. And I think it looks so stinking good. Wow. And then off to the side, you have your 17-inch wheel, Nexen tires, LT 235 80 17, solid front axle. And then here are the capacities for the tires right here. You're gonna have 3,085 pounds and then 2,835 pounds for dual at 80 PSI. New tow mirrors. They're definitely growing on me. And here's the camera on the side there. And here's the back of the mirrors. These are both heated too. You have a reverse light right there. Smart key system. And as you guys saw, 50-gallon fuel tank. Why anyone would order this truck without that is crazy. Like, honestly, they should make it standard personally. And check out these rear wheels too. Love the blackout. This truck with some like 35s or 37s, whew, will look so good. Air suspension, so your leaf pack's gonna be slightly different. You're gonna have 4 leaves, and then you're gonna see 3 back here. And then down below, you have those airbags. 410 rear, so this is max tow. Now I know most people will be like, why wouldn't they get the high output? Listen, you save that money up front and you still get crazy towing capacity. You don't normally see these on the dualies, but it does have it. This truck has a lot of options on it. Still under $100,000. And you have that parking sensor off to the side to protect the bed. You have the side markers, and then there's a strip down below there. So you have your 12-pin and 7-pin. Backup camera with a light for your conventional hitch, which is a class 5. Assisted bed. And then you have your 7 and 12-pin inside the bed. And then you have a 115-volt plug inside of here too with lights. And then there is a camera above right there too for the bed. 5th wheel prep package. This is the tow pig right here. Now I am kind of tempted to buy this truck. Like, if I didn't have so much going on in my life, I would 100% get this, guys. Like, this truck is so nice. It really is. And figure this truck with a lift, maybe like a 2-inch lift, 37s, man, it would be absolutely amazing. Well, let's go ahead and pop the hood so we can talk about this Cummins. Now, I know a lot of guys talk a lot of trash about this setup. I'm going to tell you why you should stop. I've had this engine in the past before it had this much power. And one thing I like about the 68RF is the responsiveness. I proved the point that I've been trying to prove for like the last 3 or 4 years. This setup is faster than the high output, and it's in part to the transmission. I think the 68RF is a very reliable transmission. I've met guys that do hot shot, who had 400,000 miles on the transmission, tuned, deleted, all of it, and no problems with the transmission. 400,000 miles. Now they do maintain them like they have the Eisen. They were honest about that. They say, yeah, I do the same 30,000 mile intervals on the transmission. But apart from that, this is a great setup, especially if you don't tow a lot. I mean, obviously you can tow a lot with this engine, but if it were me, I would get the Eisen if I was towing a lot. So 370 horsepower, 850 pound-feet of torque is still crazy power output in this time frame. And this truck will beat the high output off the line unloaded. Now, as far as putting a trailer behind these trucks, that's a different story. I'm pretty sure that the high output would win because you get all the power when this truck's under load. And the only thing I wish they would do is up the gears, maybe go to like a 7 or 8 speed and make them a little bit deeper to compare with the GM and Ford trucks 10 speed. But all in all, I like this setup here. This one has the 410, so this is technically max tow. Air suspension, this is a really good setup here. Now the reason why this truck is better than the Eisen for towing is the yellow sticker right here, which I'll show you in a second. I'm not going to spend too much time on the interior because honestly, it's pretty much the same interior from like 2019. There's just subtle differences like these buttons on the steering wheel. They don't give you the digital gauge cluster even as an option on the Laramie. I kind of wish they made it an option, but they didn't. Now these buttons are a little bit different here. You can now push the mirrors out. Why is that not lighting up? Here, hold on. Let me put it in accessory mode. Oh, I'm sure you don't want to hear that beeping sound this entire time, so here we go. If you hit the button right there and you use the arrows left and right, this will push the mirrors out on both sides. I will say, you don't have to get out of the truck anymore to do any of these functions. Even for the convex, they're the only ones in the market. So if you hit left side, you can pretty much set up the convex on both sides. No other truck manufacturer gives you those functions. You have lights right there, hopefully you can see it, and there are lights on the front of the mirror too. And yeah, quite honestly, I think that this truck is built to tow. No other manufacturer does what Ram does with their setup here. And they're only catching up at this point. That's just a fact. They're catching up. And this is one of my favorite things. I always show this. Ford did add something similar to this, but Ram was the first one to do it. And they've been doing it. And who doesn't love Ram's exhaust brake? Right there. And one thing I like to show too is for your tire pressure, you have it for all 6 tires. You also have for your off-road, check that out. They give it to you for all 6 tires. I like that they do that. And 12-inch display. You do have a lot of different camera views. I'll just show it to you really quickly. And you can hit more cams, and you can actually favorite some of the cameras too. You can do top rear, cargo, you can zoom in. What else do you guys want to see? This is that 12-pin camera right there. This one does not have the camera for this. That is an option, and there's 2 inputs, one for the bed, one for the back of the bumper. And let's move on. I don't want to spend too much time going through all these things. If you want to go back to, this is how you pretty much do it. You have off-road pages here. You have your controls, so you can do bed lowering. You have settings here, so you can set up. I like Ram's the best too. They do a great job with this. Down below, trailer brake, you have all your buttons here for air suspension, exhaust brake, tow haul mode, front and rear parking sensors, 4-wheel drive systems right there, charger for your phone, 4 USBs, storage, more storage with USB, and even more storage. Now on the passenger side, storage, and you have a soft touch dash with some stitching. Love this power plug right here too. It's one of my favorite things about the Ram. There is no sunroof. And then here are some of your controls, LED lights, Storage for your sunglasses right there. And then out back, you have storage in the floor here on both sides. 60/40 bench. Now on this side, you're gonna have a subwoofer. I don't normally show that to you guys. And I'm sure you guys saw it on the window sticker. This did have the Harman Kardon. There are 2 cup holders down below. Heated outboard seats, more USBs, and a power plug right there. Air vents. Yeah, this is a nice setup here. Love this truck. Although I do not care for the crew cab, I would get a mega cab dually personally because I want that rear seat setup personally. I just like it better. But let's go ahead and drive this truck. I think that we have to do a 0 to 60 run with this because let's see what it is. I mean, this has the 410 gears. This should be a good test actually. And it has a standard output Cummins. So this opportunity never really comes around, especially right now. A lot of people are probably wondering, is this truck easy to live with day to day? And I've said this in the past, I'm probably the best person to ask because I like stiff riding vehicles. Air suspension does play a role in the comfort of this Ram 3500. And what I mean by that is, above 30 miles an hour, the air suspension does a great job dampening the bumps. And I'm in the city right now, so I've been hitting a few bumps here and there. Like this is a good one right here. Oh yeah, see, like this feels like a single rear wheel 1-ton. That's what this feels like. And one thing I like about the 68RF is how responsive it is. Like it's very precise with the gear shifts. Like if I were to do wide open throttle, there's not as much lag. Like I think that this truck just performs better than the Aisin. Now again, the Aisin is not a horrible transmission. I always have to like be careful what I say because I live with the Aisin, and even though it was like very disengaged in my opinion, and a lot of it was probably the torque management too, it still performed well unloaded. It was just very clunky. That transmission is really for people who do a lot of long distance towing. Obviously this truck can be used in the same way. The Aisin is just not as good unloaded, and I think that most people will find the Aisin a little obnoxious. So that's all I'll say. But this one performs well. It has great towing capacity. It has big payload, which you'll see here in a second. And I just find it to be better to live with day to day. But again, if you tow a lot, long distances, I do recommend the Aisin because a lot of what you will feel won't be there because you'll be under load. And that truck, once it's under load, it gets full horsepower and torque. I know Ram says that you have all the power unloaded. You don't, trust me, you do not have it because the engine sounds different under load. But yeah, let's go ahead and check out the payload, and that'll pretty much end this video. Now, as far as the numbers go, you do have a gross ax weight rating out front at 6,000. The rear is 9,750 with a 14,000 pound GVWR. On the dually, these numbers do not change. And here's the payload. So this is why this truck is better for towing. 5,423 pounds of payload. If you need payload capacity, the Aisin I think robs you of about 200 to 250 pounds of payload. So hey, at the end of the day, I think that this is the better suited truck, and this is available at Larry H. Miller, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram in Sandy, Utah. So be sure to give these guys a look up. I did lie to you, unfortunately. I said I was gonna do the 06 in this video and I lied. I'm gonna do it in the next video with the MPG run. All right, so stay tuned for that video. See you guys soon.